Good day everyone. Today I am tasked to discuss to you about people media. So at the end of my presentation, we expect to meet the following objectives. First is to define people media. Second is to identify the key difference between people as media and people in media. Third is to determine legal issues to which people media can be involved. And last is to recognize the fundamental ethics that a people media should uphold. To begin with, what I have here are pictures, which includes the vintage analog radio, traffic lights, and a book. So what I would like to emphasize here are the most basic types of information that we get. We have the audio information, we have visual information, and text information. Okay. But would you agree with me if I would say that information on itself is weak and less useful? Yes, you heard it right. Let's say, so what if you know that the earth is spherical? So what if you know that milk is a source of calcium? And so what if you know that oceans are deeper and wider than the seas? The only thing that will really make information useful is when they are communicated. Hence, we have information and communication, so technology. What is the role of media here? Let's take a look at this one. Okay, what I have here is the Shannon and Weaver communication model. Shannon and Weaver's communication model. Here, the source is the one sending the information to the recipient, and the recipient provides feedback to the source. This completes the entire communication cycle. But it is not the source nor the recipient which encodes and decodes the information. It is the channel. These channels are now what we call the media. Media or medium is anything that serves as the channel to which the information sent from the source is encoded and decoded before it gets to the receiver. I also want to give emphasis to the noise. Well, the most common noise that hinders communication is physical noise. Halimbawa, malakas ang ulan, maingay ang paligid, pwedeng mahina yung boses na nagsasalita. When it comes to written communication, pwedeng hindi maganda yung penmanship or malabo yung kopya. So these are all examples of physical noises. But noise can also be semantic noise. When we say semantic noise, this takes lots of form. Pwedeng may kaugnayan sa spelling and grammar, or kaya sa language and the dialect use. This can also be in the form of misinterpretation. Going back to the definition of media, when we say media, these are communication channels. This is where information are disseminated. On infrastructures, media forms can be print media, example, books or printed journals. Talking about broadcast media, the most common examples are TV and radio. We also have the out-of-home media and the internet. Now, if you're not familiar with the term OOH or out-of-home media, these are bulletin boards, or this can also be widescreen advertisements, or even the printed ads and posters that we see on public places. So we call them out-of-home media as a whole. Now, the key participants to all of this media is what we call the people media. When we say people media, this can be anyone who communicates information to audience. Remember, to be a people media is ageless. As long as someone knows how to communicate in any form, he is a people media by definition. Now, let us try to identify who these people are. The first picture is Mr. Maurice Ruiz de Luceriaga Galiaga, or better known as Peque Galiaga. He is a multi-awarded Filipino maker, and one of his works is the Oro Plata Mata. Next to him is Mr. Felix Isagon Manalo, or known to his brethren as Ka Felix. He is a Filipino who is behind the Philippine registration of now a global church, Iglesia ni Cristo, way back in 1914. That is almost 100 years now. Next, we have Genoveva Edrosa Matute, also known as Aling Bebang. He is a popular Filipino storyteller and author. Actually, she received multiple awards on her advocacy to promote and preserve Filipino culture through literary arts. And the last picture is none other than Miss Lourdes Jimenez Carval. He is also popular as Inday Badiday. She was a Filipino host and journalist. She was once dubbed as the Queen of the Filipino talk shows in the queen of showbiz talk shows in the Philippines. Then what? Well, Galiaga, Manalo, Matute, and Carval are just some of the most successful Filipino media names in the country. They communicated effectively and efficiently to their audiences on their own different ways. Okay, people media can be generally classified into two. We have what we call the people as media and people in media. Now, what's the difference between people in media and people as media? Okay, let's take a look at this. The primary difference between the two lies on the profession of those who are classified as people in media. These people are professionally experts of their field. They hold a particular degree to talk about something relevant to their field. Unlike those who are people as media, they can be anyone who says something about anything without professional expertise about it. Let's say, for example, when a child talks about how to resolve anxiety. So that particular child becomes people as media. But when a psychologist says something about resolving anxiety, then the psychologist is indeed a people in media. Why? Because that is his line of expertise. On the other hand, when the psychologist talks about how to reformat a desktop computer, then he becomes a people as media. Why? Because reformatting a desktop computer is not his professional expertise. Meaning to say, all can be people as media. All people in media can be people as media. But not all people as media can be people in media. Example, the crowdsourcers. When we say sourcers, so they are the ones doing crowdsourcing. Crowdsourcing, it means collecting information from the public. Like in Wikipedia, anybody can actually contribute information to it. Another example is Waste. That is another example. That is another crowdsourcing application. So the public who are contributors to these crowdsourcing platforms are known as crowdsourcers, and they are classified as people as media. On the other hand, when a nutritionist is interviewed and he talks about the importance of good nutrition, that nutritionist is classified as people in media. Nakuha po yung difference ng dalawa. Okay, though there could be other differences between the two, the professional expertise of those who are people in media is primarily what makes it different from people as media. Sa madaling salita, people in media, they are professional on what they are talking about. Whereas when we say people as media, this can be anyone who talks about anything. Okay, so here I just want to share to you, aside from the one that I already shared to you from the previous slide, here are the top opportunities of people media in the industry. They can be interpreter, translator, film or video editor. They can be public relations specialist, technical writer, blogger, video producer, sound engineer, content strategist, art director, or they can be social media specialist. Now, there are also legal issues to which a people media can be involved. But since being a people media concerns communicating information to the public, the most common dilemma is libel. So here are some of the facts about libel. When we say libel, this is defamation or paninirang puri by written words or by communication in some tangible form or other than by spoken words or gestures. So it is clear that whether it is written or spoken, libel is libel. In fact, libel can also be in the form of gestures, images, or symbols. But when do we actually say that something is libelous? Well, it is libelous if it contains the following elements. First, defamation, paninirang puri. Second, publication. Third, false identity and falsification. Okay, to make it clear, libel daw ayon sa batas kung nakasisira ng reputasyon, isinapubliko, may mali siya or there's an intention, why is it done? Tinukoy yung particular na tao, the particular person or a group of people is mentioned, and napatunayang hindi naman pala totoo. Now, among these elements, the last three are the common scapegoats o palusot sa korte. Like say for example, sa fault element, tapos sabihin, wala naman akong mali siya doon, nagbibiro lang ako. Or di, kaya someone would say, nadala lang ako ng sama ng loob. O kaya wala ako sa katinoan. Yan yung tinatawag na insanity. No? Another scapegoat is yung sa identity. Ngayon yung palusot. Hindi naman siya yung tinukoy ko. No, hindi ko naman tinukoy kung sino. Basta sabi ko asawa ng kapitbahay namin. Pero hindi ko sinabing siya yun. So scapegoat din yan. No? Yung matindi yung pangatlo. Kung sino pa yung siniraan, siya pa yung pahihirapan na patunayang hindi totoo. Yung chismis. Halimbawa, sinabi ni Pedro buntis si Maria. Sabi ni Maria, hindi ako buntis. Tapos sabi ni Pedro, di patunayan mong hindi ka buntis, magpa-pregnancy test ka. Biro mo yon, siya na yung na-chismis, siya pa yung pinahirapan para patunayang hindi totoo yon. Tandaan natin, the burden of proof lies on the affirmative. Ikaw yung nagsabing buntis si Maria, well, it is your duty to prove that Maria is actually pregnant. Sa paraang hindi mo na siya kailangang istorbohin dahil ikaw naman yung nagbintang sa kanya. Okay? Other legal issues that a people media can be involved are bullying, whether physical or virtual. It can also be identity theft, to which one form is introducing yourself as somebody else. Plagiarism, although in the Philippines we do not have an official law penalizing those who plagiarize. And copyright infringement, or the illegal use and distribution of someone else's intellectual work. Here's the catch. As I mentioned, we still do not have in the Philippines any direct law penalizing someone who plagiarizes. But some of the major elements of plagiarism are defined under the copyright law. Meaning to say, in the country, though we do not have anti-plagiarism law, still under the copyright law, plagiarism is still illegal. Another thing is when you copy someone else's popular statement and you make it appear that it's your own words, then be ready to face condemnation from the public. I know you can still remember an official from the Senate who experienced this one. So when you talk to people and will say something who is once said by somebody else, the better thing to do is to make it in your own words. So making a statement in your own words is paraphrasing. So you restate someone else's word in a brand new structure, but you preserve the context. Let's say, for example, sabi ni Confucius, do not do unto others what you don't want others to do unto you. You can say it this way: do evil and evil will do evil and evil is what you'll reap. Same meaning but different in structure. Well, you're also free to do direct quotation, but be sure to mention the source. Example, according to the Pet Secretary Briones, walang batang dapat maiwan sa panahong ito ng pandemya. With this, you can actually do away from plagiarism. And since information and media literacy calls for an ethical use, okay, the next question is, what does it take to be a responsible people media? This question is too little practical. What I mean to say, this is self-explanatory. We actually know, as adults, we actually know the do's and don'ts of being a people media. Okay? Okay. Now, I will be sharing to you the story of a couple whose life is once put into danger because of an irresponsible media use. So, this happened way back to 2007 or 2017, if I'm not mistaken. This is a road rage that turned into shooting incident somewhere in Quiapo, Manila. It became viral because it was shared by Top Gear Philippines on Facebook. But the author of the article wrongfully accused Mr. Nestor Punsalan as the suspect in the said shooting incident. So what happened? Mr. Punsalan and his wife deactivated their Facebook accounts. Why? Because they are receiving bashing and death threats. Lots of bashing and death threats. And they even went to the police to clear the name of Mr. Punsalan. But later, Mr. Von Tanto was arrested and he actually admitted the crime on national television. So this is just one of the million stories to which an irresponsible media made a horrible fault. Stories like these and the rest that happened just recently only prove that making our people a responsible people media is still a long battle. Okay, but before I end, I prepared just a short formative test for you. You just need to unscramble the letters and come up of the word being described. Let's begin. The first one, what do you call to the process of collecting information, opinions, or work from a group of people, usually via internet? Crowdsourcing. Next, this is the restatement of someone else's words in a brand new structure, but preserving the context. Correct, paraphrasing. Next, this is characterized by defamation. It can be written or spoken, or it can also be in the form of gestures. Yes, that's correct. Libel. Next, this is a communication noise, a type of communication noise wherein it is characterized by misinterpretation of the message. Okay, semantic noise. And last one, how do you call the people who communicates information towards audience? Thank you for that. People, media. Okay, so that's all for now. Thank you for listening and have a good day. Bye.